Danny Vegas time, Danny Vegas world, hashtag one lucky gal, hashtag cornerstone, hashtag are you ready? Sharp Tank. Nicole Taylor Sharp is the co-host for the full hour of Danny Vegas Live. It's the second week of the month. Now remember, whoop whoop, next week, Andeen Rose, who is,
You don't have it marked?
Yes, I do. Andeen Rose, which is spotlighted in Las Vegas Women's Magazine. Go to Whole Foods. That's where the big hubs are to get your copy of the latest issue, which is fall 2016. We love Andeen Rose. She's back in town, and we're ready to rock and roll. She's in there. And remember, whoop, 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 my buddy, Business Titan, on segment 4, which is coming up right after segment 3, right here on the Danny Vegas Live Show, largest mixer. So we're going to be talking all about that. Man, that is an incredible story. Love that. Love that, love that, love that.
Awesome brand. Developed a reputation over the last, decade, 12 years?
Talk about everything we talk about. You know, building of a brand, getting to the point where your brand is literally above the fray. Man.
Above the fray. There's no such thing.
Oh.
A fray happens and you can sink below in a second.
You can. You can sink below in a second. But, man, talk about being above the fray. There's Dave Linden and everyone else.
Yeah, Dave Linden has done an incredible job of building a solid reputation of integrity, excellence, and performance in networking. The largest mixer is incredible. Yep. And it's fascinating to see. I've always talked about, networking groups in town because there's always, probably 4 or 5 that are vying for the mighty 500, the folks that are out there in small business networking. And sometimes there'll be segments that'll get along, and then other times it's just like cats and dogs crazy. I've always said, if you're in networking and you can't network well with others, you're in the wrong mindset. You're not doing it right. Dave Linden definitely has risen above that because he really does employ people strategically so brilliantly to produce an event that just packs the house wall to wall. It's incredible.
It is very incredible, and I can't wait. September 20th at the Texas Station, and we're going to have the man in here himself in the next segment.
Yeah, looking
forward
to that.
So, it's kind of interesting. We were talking about emotion, dictating your actions, dangers, the positives of that. We're going to get into segment 3. We're going to talk about what you had discussed before the show where, the word passion. Everybody, when you go to your business coach, name your top 3 things that you are great at. And what does everybody put? Passion.
I'm passionate about.
I'm passionate.
Yeah.
Now, you are saying that there are some leagues out there that say you can't be passionate about your business. So kind of go into that and give us your spiel on that a little bit.
Well, we had an interesting discussion at a room full of business people yesterday about whether or not feelings should be involved in business. And the person speaking, who I
say her name,
value tremendously.
We love her.
Dana Earhart, love you. She had said how another one of her mentors or coaches had asked her if she'd ever looked up the definition of passion. Okay. And she said she hadn't. She looked up the definition of passion, and their definition was an unstoppable chain of emotions, feelings, uncontrollable feelings, feeling for something. And the business person had likened to passion being a negative thing in business. Okay. That you never want to tell people that you're passionate about something because you're saying that you can't control your emotions. And I got the concept of where it's coming from, but I had to wholeheartedly disagree with that. When you think about uncontrolled reaction, I think it's like an explosion, right? Right. And an uncontrolled explosion is a terrible thing. It's quite destructive. That's right. You direct an explosion, a chain reaction in the right way, whether it be a bullet that's being fired from a gun and the explosion of the gunpowder that starts it all going, or an explosion underneath a rocket done right will send it into outer space. Done wrong, like that SpaceX shuttle that just blew up.
What happened there?
It destroys everything and blocks radius. So having passion in business is integral in success and becoming an entrepreneur. Otherwise, we wouldn't become an entrepreneur if we didn't have a passion and a belief that what we're doing needs to be done by us in our way. Otherwise, go clock in with someone else and get better benefits, better hours.
It's very interesting because I think brands, businesses, and I've seen this, they tend to mature over time. I think when someone's in beginning and they're fired up, I think there is uncontrolled passion. They don't really follow a lot of, they're what's the word? I'm trying to find a word. I can't find it right now. But their routine, their training, their mental thinking tends to be all over the place. So if you've talked to someone in brand new, undisciplined, that's a word. They're undisciplined in the beginning because it's more about passion and their we use Sadie the basket lady all the time, her baskets, and it's not until later the Sadie the basket lady learns that passion is great. I have passion, but at the same time I still need product. I need people. I need processes.
Distribution.
I need distribution.
Yeah, I need all of that.
And the new word that I'm kind of following into right now is a pathway. I've asked this of a number of businesses lately. What is your pathway to success here? Because having passion and loving what you're doing and having a garage full of baskets don't mean jack. Okay, what is the plan? What is the processes? What is the pathway to success? And believe me, don't ask Danny Vegas that, because it would be a line that goes craziness. But what is your pathway?
I think that's a pretty simple answer for anyone to figure out.
How many don't though?
Millions. Millions. We chase happiness, and we live in the pursuit of happiness, right? That's the American dream, and it's being in the pursuit of happiness. And many of us that go into business pursue this business because we want to be happy by taking our product or services, solving other problems, helping other people, right? But if you have that, oh my gosh, I got to do this because it means so much to me, and you're just passionate, you feel all of this emotion, but you never focus it into where do I want to be in 5 years from now, 10 years from now, 20 years from now. So I have a destination. You need to know where you want to be first before you can start on a pathway. Otherwise, which pathway are you going to go on? So what's your destination?
I don't think most people when they start a business even thinking that way. They're just into, hey, I'm going to be successful.
That's why 40% of businesses are out of business within 2 years.
I think it's got to be more than that.
It's about 40% between 18 months and 2 years. Right. And then after that, the drop-off rate is even more.
Right.
So number one, deciding where you want to be, and who are you? Who are you? What does your brand mean? What's your mission statement? Define yourself and your brand, so you're living in a place of integrity.
Well, I learned it from you. I think you posted a post from somebody. Your brand is what people say when you're not in the room. Done.
Yeah,
That's what your brand is. What people say when you're not in the room, that's your brand.
And the question is are you defining it, or are you letting all of these things flying around you and these emotions and reactions and instances define your brand? Because if that's what you're doing, maybe that's why you really don't know where you're going, and people don't know where. They're not going to want to go with you. They don't know where you're going, right?
I agree, and I will be transparent. Some of the aspects of behind the brand with Danny Vegas, there is some of that what am I doing? I can honestly say I've probably wasted at least 2 years trying to figure that out. And thank God for my beautiful wife who's still out there working, giving me time to get to the point where the brand is monetized enough to help pay bills.
Right.
There were many years when it was not.
And my thought is too, especially when you're in a place of disorientation and you don't know where you're going, you go back to operating out of feelings.
Right.
Those fears of failure, the fears of how you're being perceived, insecurities. Oh my gosh, I need to have money. It's not successful.
Right.
And you stop making rational decisions.
Let me finish up. Got 18 seconds. That was the $1 million line of the day. Okay? When you don't have a pathway, when you don't have that, you tend to revert back to emotion, which of course is a whole problem in itself.
Get your compass straight.
Nicole Taylor
Operate
Sharp.
outta here.
Look her up on Facebook. Danny Vegas. Just Google me. We'll be back with Dave Linden right after this.